forearm splaying is very similar to what we've already done in the lower extremity, because we can do the same hand stroking technique and you can apply that to different tissues. So to demonstrate this, we're going to do it on the extensors because it's easiest to show. And I'm going to be honest with you, clinically, these are the ones that you're typically going to be working on. Just more or less, there's usually going to be problems on this side. So target tissues are the extensor group, right, which runs from the wrist all the way up to the supracondylar ridge and everything kind of in between. You got the brachioradialis that actually inserts a little bit higher than the supracondylar ridge as well. And we're going to catch that bad boy in this splaying as well. So I'm going to start with a little therapeutic superficial touch with an ironing technique, right? So my hand is flat and I'm moving through that tissues as I shift my body weight and kind of take that whole superficial fascia movement approach. Okay? Notice there's a nice little weight shift. Always use your body weight, guys. Always kind of try to shift that weight in there. That helps you keep your hand soft, right? Because if I'm using my hand's probably going to get tight and push in like that. We don't want that. We want to stay nice and buttery. We want to move through that tissues, hands stay molded, nice and soft. Now I'm going to emphasize a little bit more focal pressure, okay? So instead of just my whole hand making contact, the emphasis are going to be on my power fingers, right? So kind of more these two fingers, okay? So it still looks like I'm doing an ironing technique. However, my focus is on these two fingers. So it looks like this. This is what I'm doing. However, if you want to look at the pressure that I'm putting, it's more this. This is not what we want to see, but this is what's happening, if that makes any sense to you. Okay? So this is what that looks like. My whole hand makes contact, but the pressure emphasis is through these fingers all the way through this part. Okay? Now I'm going to get even more specific, and I can now kind of slide in between those fascicles, right? Because we have all the extensor digitorum, FCU, the extensor carporadialis longus, brevis, well, brevis then longus, and then the brachioradialis. So those are all a bunch of different fascicle tubes coming down. So I'm going to actually now take my pressure and go from two fingers now to one finger, but I'm going to make a buddy finger like this, okay? So if I overlap them, these gloves don't really make the best demo, do they? But if I overlap them, you can see where buddies work better. Teamwork first, right? Teamwork works the best. So if I do something like this, you can see where I can slide in between those fascicles and really manipulate those tissues at a deeper level. You okay with that? And again, I'm still molding with the rest of my hand. My other fingers aren't just like up in the air and real tight like this. That's a little bit not therapeutic. We want you to, right? Mold to your patient. Start at the distal tendons, work your way all the way through those fascicles to the insertion point up here past the epicondyle, and then begin your stroke again. And you can see that how my fingers are just sliding through those fascicles. I'm going to need a little bit more juice here in just a second, okay? So remember, this lotion sinks in pretty fast, so you got to get more. The Biotone product or any other, the free ups and all those stuff, they'll stay for you a bit longer when you're doing these, okay? And that's kind of the deeper approach. And Soft Tissue 2 will show you even more advanced stuff and get a little bit more crazy. Again, to emphasize, this was the extensor side. I could do the exact same protocol on the flexor side and get all of these done the same way, just a different muscle group. That is your forearm splaying, ladies and gentlemen.